this is my sport and exercise department internship presentation. So I actually had the opportunity to do 4 different types of internships. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Presbyterian Manor. So this is like an in-care facility for elderly. It's basically a retirement home. So the patient population I dealt with was geriatrics. And it was actually pretty interesting because the therapy room was like really tiny, and I'd never been in one like that before. But there were about 5 therapists that worked there at a time, and usually every single one of them had a patient. So it got crowded in there, but you definitely got to know people. And I mean, I loved how the therapists worked with their patients. Like, they made them feel better, and that's what I really took out of it. But I also learned that I don't think I want to work with geriatrics. I did get to see different treatment plans for speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, to kind of get people back on the right track. A lot of the times patients would come there after they had surgery, and it was kind of their care plan to get them home so that they could be independent living again. The typical therapy exercises that we kind of dealt with were basically sitting and standing, like relearning how to sit and stand, balance, different kind of balance exercises, working the core, a lot of just like laying down and trying to flex your abs. So a lot of it was actually relearning what they already knew, just because their muscles are different. It was really interesting to see, and I often like got to play catch and like bat balloons around with people just to work on shoulder range of motion, stuff like that. And it was kind of interesting to see how it was kind of like teaching a child how to do something again. Like, they just didn't have the coordination anymore, so it was pretty cool to see that. So yeah. My next internship was at the Salina Ortho. I did it over the summer. I actually worked in the clinical setting, and I got to see the surgical setting as well. I didn't see any physical therapists at this time, but I actually enjoyed it because I kind of got to see like what patients go through before they get to physical therapists. The doctor's appointments, the x-rays. I learned how to like look at x-rays and tell if a patient was going to need like a total hip or total knee replacement, and how to see if their cartilage was gone, which a lot of the times it was. In the clinical setting, I also got to see like cortisone shots and different steroid shots to help with pain. It was actually pretty interesting to see what people go through before they have surgery. I also got to see ultrasounds. They did that with the shots. They often used ultrasounds so they could make sure that they actually got into the joint. And I saw surgery preparation, like all the instructions people got before surgery, what they would need to do after surgery, stuff like that. The surgery setting I thought was awesome. Like, I'm so glad I got to do this. I saw a couple total hips and a couple total knee surgeries, which was kind of surreal. It's kind of incredible, like how much damage a body can take and come out walking again. Like, they're making people better by removing parts of their leg. Like, it's crazy to me, but it was really interesting because I got to see what happens when they're on the table and why they have so much swelling or pain. And why we have to go through range of motion stuff once they get to the therapy setting. So it was, I really enjoyed it. I also saw a rotator cuff repair, which I really enjoyed as well, because I want to work with athletes and hopefully pediatrics. And there's a lot of shoulder injuries in athletics, so rotator cuff would definitely be one of them. It was crazy. Like, it's just incredible what these doctors can do just looking at a scope, like just looking through a camera. They're able to sew up a rotator cuff. It's awesome. My next internship was the athletic training clinic in Kansas Wesleyan. So this was a little different. I got to work with basketball, baseball, dance, and cheer. And I got to see a little bit of clinical observation, like stim treatment, heat, ultrasound, stuff like that. And I also got to help treat athletes that didn't really know what was wrong with them. They knew that they got hurt during a game, and I was able to take what I had learned in the classroom and apply it to an actual real life scenario and figure out why these athletes, like what happened to these athletes. Was it a bicep tendon tear? Is it impingement in the shoulder? Is it a hamstring, like pulled hamstring? I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. And it actually really helped me be confident that I do want to go into athletics therapy. And then my last one was the Health and Wellness Fair, which is the shirt I am wearing right now. This was from this year. I got to be a part of the fair for 3 years, and I got to be co-chair of it and actually run the fair for 2. My co-chair was Eric Moss. He was awesome. I actually really appreciated this internship. It helped me grow a lot. We got to select our own committee. We got to design the theme, come up with the date, pick the vendors that we invited. We had to make a timeline and stick to it so that the fair would be successful and happen on time. We also got to invite different vendors. We had to come up with letters to invite them. And it helped me delegate. I'm super bad at delegating. I just want to be in charge of everything. But it's almost impossible to do that with an event this big. So it helped me delegate jobs and learn who I could trust and who I could give different jobs to. So that was really helpful for me. It helped me work with a variety of people. I can work with a variety of personalities now, so that was also helpful. And it helped me with budgeting. We had a budget to go off of this year, and I think that helped with our successes in the fair. We were able to spend money on things that we hadn't been able to in the past, like a banner and bags and stuff like that. So I think it was very helpful. These are just pictures of the fair from this year. All the decorations, we start at 6:30 in the morning the day of the fair to get everything set up, make sure the vendors have everything they need. We order an obstacle course. We have school clubs come in and do their own thing. We had I think 36 vendors this year. It was the largest fair, and we had 100% of the vendors show up that committed, so that was awesome. And that is my internship.